Hey everybody, this is Matt Fendora, and you're listening to the Choose to Live, Love, and Grow podcast, the show that provides tools and insights to help you become the best version of yourself, focusing on mind, body, heart, and spirit. Without further ado, let's begin. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the very first episode of the Choose to Live, Love, and Grow podcast. My name is Matt Fendora. I'm a mindset coach for young men, helping them overcome victim mindset so they can achieve purposeful life goals. A lot of things happened in my life that brought me to this point of creating this podcast. Over time, I'll be sharing some of those stories through my monologue episodes and my interviews. The intention of this podcast is to provide knowledge and tools to help all of us become the best version of ourselves. So, here's my backstory. Growing up, I didn't have much. I grew up poor and in a negative atmosphere. My last couple of years in high school, I was focused on going to college. I was specifically focused on finding one in the area I grew up in, which was Ohio. My senior year, I had to take my ACT. However, my older brother had to pay for it. Unfortunately, I got the time wrong and showed up late, and the moderator wouldn't let me take the test. I had no idea what I was going to do next. Maybe a week or so after that, my life took a turn. During lunch, I had a classmate approach me and comment on the bag I was wearing. I was wearing a Marine's bag that I had gotten for free in the mail. He asked if I ever considered joining. I told him no, I wanted a bag to carry my books in. He invited me to come work out with him and the other people who were joining the Marines. He said they could even come and pick me up. I thought about it for a minute and thought how we had a gym in my apartment complex, but I didn't know how to use the equipment properly, come out with my own workout or anything like that. But for some reason, all of that going through my mind, I said, sure, why not? After school, I went home and had a yogurt just like I did every day. They came and picked me up. We drove past the gym to the park and conducted a P90X-like circuit course. Not what I was expecting and nothing like I had done before. Right before the final exercise, I threw up the yogurt I had before. The person leading the exercise was someone who was fresh out of boot camp. He said to take it easy, I would feel weak, and I didn't have to do the exercise. My classmate, who invited me to the workout, was in the same group and told me to push myself. It was in that moment that I had to make a decision, listen to the Marine and sit out because I felt weak, or listen to my classmate who said to push myself. I decided to push myself, and although I didn't do a lot of reps, it taught me a valuable lesson. I'm much more capable than what anyone else tells me I am. This experience showed me that I had been living with a victim mindset that was instilled in me by my family. Imagine living your life as a victim instead of reaching your true potential. After that experience, I decided I was going to join the Marines. I carried that motivation with me when I joined. I started sharing motivational quotes on Facebook. I actually had one person message me on Facebook and tell me that it had inspired him, while I had another person tell me the same thing in person. I created a Facebook page after that to try and inspire even more people. In 2016, I decided to rediscover the passion I had for writing when I was younger by creating a blog. In 2019, I watched the documentary I'm Not Your Guru by Tony Robbins, and it showed me what I truly wanted to be, a life coach. Since then, I have found my passion and created my purpose, which is to help develop the youth and inspire people to be the best version of themselves. On this first episode of Choose to Live, Love, and Grow podcast, I want to discuss something that is one of the core pieces of why I do what I do. That topic is victim mentality. What is victim mentality? We've heard this term thrown around, but do we truly know what that means and where it comes from? Victim mentality is a learned behavior in which a person believes that no matter what they do, they cannot succeed because of what others do or what happened to them. Individuals with this mindset believe that they're stuck in their life, that bad things will always happen to them, it's other people's fault for their misfortune, and change will not make things better. Their mindset is life is happening to them instead of for them. Some symptoms that are associated with victim mentality are zero responsibility over their life, they lack accountability over their actions, they're stuck in life, they lack vision, purpose, and a path forward, they don't take criticism well, they feel attacked when given any feedback, they externalize those feelings and begin to constantly seek attention and sympathy from others, excessive self-deprecation, They're jealous and judgmental. They lack empathy. They're self-entitled. They provide examples on why things won't work. They self-sabotage. They're increasingly aware of negative things that could happen. They find difficulty in self-assessing, and they avoid vulnerability. People who have a victim mentality may suffer from any of these mentioned, but these are some of the most common symptoms. When someone suffers from this mentality, they don't take any responsibility for their life. They believe that everything happens to them is negative and is the direct result of someone or something else. They suffer from lack of self-esteem and self-confidence, which in turn makes them end up sabotaging their own life. These individuals believe in Murphy's Law, where anything that's bad could happen and will happen to them in each situation they are in. One other thing to note is that they also believe in fairness and justice. Misery loves company, and those who are victims want others to feel the same way because it's fair. So where does it come from? Common origins include past trauma, betrayal, codependency, and manipulation. When dealing with past trauma, a victim mentality can be an individual's coping mechanism. If someone has dealt with neglect or abuse, they may feel as though being a victim is the best way to get the attention they desire. At some point, someone in our life does not follow through with the commitment, and feeling betrayed can lead someone down this road. They believe that everyone they meet will have let them down, or that they cannot trust or rely on anyone but themselves. Now, a codependent person with this mindset usually gives up on their hopes and dreams for someone else. That person could be a spouse, parent, child, etc. According to Harley Therapy, one example is between an alcoholic and their significant other. The caregiver can play the victim by saying they put up with the alcoholic behavior, but also use guilt to attempt to control the alcoholic. Lastly, we have manipulation. Some people try to get others to feel sorry for them and guilt them into sympathy. Oftentimes, this is a result of narcissistic behavior disorder. For me, I felt as though each one of these had an impact on me. I didn't personally deal with past trauma. However, both of my parents had their own individual trauma that were never properly handled. Because of this, it stuck with them and often displayed as proper behavior for conflict resolution. As a kid, you learn how to behave and communicate from those in your immediate vicinity. So, this victim behavior that my parents developed got passed down to me. Because I was already in this victim mindset, I was prepared to eventually be betrayed. My parents proved to me that I couldn't rely on them for a ride to things, so I couldn't do any after-school activities. In turn, I felt like I couldn't rely on other people, especially if those closest to me were letting me down. That leads us to manipulation. My dad was an alcoholic. My mom was the caregiver that I mentioned in the example earlier. Guilt and the feeling that anything bad will happen were very prevalent because of this type of relationship. Lastly, the manipulation came from the narcissistic tendencies of my father. Everyone else is bad and we're amazing. It's us against the world. Were just some of the common things that I heard. My influence was contained to only my immediate family because of this. Now, when someone suffers from a victim mentality, they begin to lose their personal relationships. It's difficult for them to create new relationships because they attract other victim mentality individuals. Misery loves company. Everyone has had some small achievement in their life, whether that's winning a medal, waking up on time, or eating the right food. This mindset prevents people from seeing and accepting those successes. They look at the negative side of things instead, such as, that medal was in the past, I'm not that person anymore. Tomorrow, I won't be able to wake up on time, and healthy food just isn't for me. Things we can do to stop being a victim include take responsibility of your life, practice self-care, set boundaries, educate yourself, practice gratitude, find a therapist or coach, or, my personal favorite, love yourself. Victim mentality is a learned behavior, which means you can learn something new to take its place. It all starts with learning to take control of your life. The road to happiness starts with two things, purpose and progress. You have to be very clear with what you want in your life, and you have to set your vision on that purpose. Progress may feel slow, but progress is still progress. You can't have progress without purpose. Don't forget to practice self-care and love yourself. Self-care can be as simple as getting a massage, reading a book, meditating, taking a warm bath, or going for a walk. People who suffer from this mentality often forget to love themselves. They look for external love instead of inner love. Educate yourself on how you can control your self-development. If you're listening to this, then you're already on the correct path. Practicing gratitude may be very difficult for some people who are constantly blaming others for the situation, but it's important to find one thing, just one thing to be grateful for each day. Even in the midst of chaos, we can find one silver lining. If you need help, a therapist or a coach can help you. There are some things that therapists are much more equipped to handle than a coach. However, both are viable options. If you are ready to take back control of your life, or you know someone who needs to do so, don't be afraid to ask for help. Creating a strong support system and educating yourself is the best way to start releasing the victim mentality. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of the Choose to Live, Love, and Grow podcast. I look forward to seeing you next week. Don't forget to live, love, and grow to be the best version of you. Oh, and one more thing. If you or a young man that you know suffer from victim mindset or are not reaching their fullest potential, then visit mattfendora.com to see how we can work together to become the best version of ourselves. That's mattfendora.com. The link will be in the show notes, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you, and have an outstanding day.